the Olympic Games. The very name evokes images of athletic prowess, international competition, and the pursuit of excellence. Our journey begins in ancient Greece, in the sacred land of Olympia. Here, amidst rolling hills and verdant valleys, the first chapter of the Olympic Games was written. This was not merely a sporting event. It was a religious festival, a celebration of the human form, and a testament to the ideals of peace and unity. From humble beginnings, the ancient Olympics grew into a spectacle that captivated the Greek world. Athletes from across the land converged on Olympia, their hearts set on glory and their minds focused on honoring the gods. Though the ancient games eventually faded, their legacy would endure, laying the foundation for the modern Olympic movement that continues to inspire the world today.
Nestled in the western Peloponnese, Olympia was a sacred site long before the first Olympic Games. Dedicated to Zeus, the king of the gods, Olympia was a place of pilgrimage and religious observance. The sanctuary of Zeus housed a magnificent statue of the god, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Tradition dates the first games to 776 BC, marking the beginning of a tradition that would continue for over a millennium. Every 4 years, the people of Greece would set aside their differences and gather in Olympia to honor Zeus and witness the feats of their finest athletes. The scorching heat of the Greek summer added to the challenge faced by the athletes, testing their endurance and resolve. The winners of the games were not just athletes, they were heroes, celebrated for their physical prowess and seen as embodying the virtues of courage, discipline, and piety.
One of the most remarkable aspects of the ancient Olympic Games was the Ekacheria, or Olympic truce. This sacred truce was observed by all Greek city-states, ensuring safe passage for athletes and spectators traveling to and from Olympia. The truce was a testament to the power of the Games to transcend political and social divisions, uniting people from all walks of life in the spirit of competition and celebration. During the truce, representatives from different city-states could meet and discuss political issues, fostering dialogue and understanding. The Games provided a neutral ground for these discussions, allowing for the peaceful resolution of conflicts. The Olympic truce was a powerful symbol of unity in a world often plagued by conflict and strife. The modern Olympic movement has sought to revive this ancient tradition, promoting the use of sport as a tool for diplomacy and conflict resolution.
The ancient Olympic Games were a far cry from the multi-sport spectacle we know today. The early games featured a limited number of events, all focused on testing the strength, speed, and agility of the male athletes. One of the most popular and prestigious events was the chariot race. Held in the Hippodrome, a long, oval-shaped track, the chariot race was a thrilling spectacle of speed and danger. Teams of horses, driven by skilled charioteers, would thunder around the track, vying for victory. The roar of the crowd, the dust kicked up by the horses' hooves, and the tension of the race created an electrifying atmosphere. Another popular event was wrestling, a test of strength and technique. Wrestlers would grapple with each other in a sandpit, their bodies slick with olive oil. Winning athletes were awarded olive wreaths, a symbol of victory and honor.
Section 5. The Decline. A Shadow Falls on Olympia. For centuries, the Olympic Games flourished, a testament to the cultural and athletic spirit of ancient Greece. However, the rise of Roman power cast a long shadow over the Games. The Romans, with their more practical and less idealistic worldview, did not share the same reverence for the Games as their Greek predecessors. As Roman influence grew, the Olympics began to decline. The Games became more professionalized, with athletes competing for financial rewards rather than for the glory of victory. The Romans also introduced gladiatorial combat and other blood sports to the Olympics, further distancing the Games from their original ideals. In 393 AD, Emperor Theodosius I, a Christian, banned the Olympic Games, considering them a pagan festival. The once great Games fell into obscurity, the temples and stadiums of Olympia slowly crumbling into ruin.
Section 6. A Modern Revival, Pierre de Coubertin's Vision. As Europe emerged from the Middle Ages, interest in classical antiquity rekindled. Among those captivated by the Olympic spirit was a young French aristocrat named Pierre de Coubertin. Coubertin believed that sport had the power to educate and inspire young people, fostering a sense of fair play, discipline, and international understanding. In 1894, Coubertin organized an international congress in Paris to discuss the revival of the Games. Representatives from 12 nations attended, inspired by Coubertin's vision. The International Olympic Committee, or IOC, was formed, tasked with organizing the first modern Olympic Games. 2 years later, in 1896, the first modern Olympic Games were held in Athens, Greece.
Section 7, the early games from Athens to Paris. The first decades of the modern Olympic Games were a time of growth and evolution. The Games faced financial difficulties, political tensions, and 2 world wars. Despite these obstacles, the Olympic movement persevered, driven by the belief in the power of sport to unite people. The 1900 Games were held in Paris, France, as part of the city's World Fair. The 1900 Games saw the first participation of women athletes, a significant milestone. The 1904 Games in St. Louis, Missouri were marred by controversy and poor attendance. The 1908 Games, moved to London due to the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, introduced new sports. The 1912 Games in Stockholm, Sweden introduced electronic timing devices and a public address system.
Section 8. Breaking Barriers, Women in the Olympics. The inclusion of women in the Olympic Games was a long and hard-fought battle. From the outset, the modern Olympic movement faced resistance from those who believed that sport was the exclusive domain of men. However, women athletes and their advocates refused to be sidelined, and their persistence gradually chipped away at the barriers to participation. The 1900 Paris Games marked the first appearance of women athletes at the Olympics. Despite significant social and cultural obstacles, women athletes continued to excel, proving their doubters wrong. Over the decades, the number of women's events at the Olympics steadily increased, and women athletes gained greater recognition and respect. The courage and determination of women athletes throughout Olympic history have helped to create a more inclusive and equitable sporting landscape.
Section 9. Politics and Protest. The Games on the world stage. The Olympic Games have never been immune to political and social currents. From the beginning, the Games have been a platform for national pride, political posturing, and social protest. The 1936 Berlin Games were a notorious example of political interference. Held in Nazi Germany, they were intended by Hitler to showcase Aryan superiority. However, Jesse Owens' triumph, winning 4 gold medals, challenged Nazi ideology. During the Cold War, the Olympics became a proxy battleground for the USA and USSR. The 1968 Mexico City Games saw Tommy Smith and John Carlos's Black Power salute during the medal ceremony.
Section 10, Tokyo 2020, Navigating a Pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic cast a long shadow over the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Originally scheduled for 2020, the Games were postponed for a year, an unprecedented event in Olympic history. The Tokyo Games were eventually held in the summer of 2021, but the pandemic continued to loom large. The Games took place under strict health and safety protocols, with athletes and officials subject to regular testing and quarantine measures. Spectators were largely banned from attending events, creating a surreal and somewhat muted atmosphere compared to previous Games. Despite the challenges, the Tokyo Games were a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of sport. The Tokyo Games will be remembered as a unique chapter in Olympic history, a testament to the power of sport to unite and inspire even in the most challenging of times.
Section 11. The Future of the Games, Innovation and Sustainability. As the Olympic Games look to the future, they face a number of challenges and opportunities. The IOC is grappling with issues such as the growing cost of hosting the Games, the need to engage younger audiences, and the imperative to address climate change. One of the key challenges facing the IOC is the sustainability of the Games. Hosting the Olympics requires a massive investment in infrastructure, transportation, and security, which can have a significant environmental impact. The IOC has pledged to make the Games more sustainable, with a focus on reducing carbon emissions, minimizing waste, and promoting environmental awareness. The IOC is also exploring ways to engage younger audiences, including the introduction of new sports and the use of digital platforms to enhance the fan experience. The future of the Olympic Games is one of both evolution and tradition, staying true to their core values of excellence, friendship, and respect.